Good afternoon, it's Dave at All Things Imported Reviews. Thanks for checking my channel out. Please smash that subscribe button, please smash that like button. The topic for today's video is, do you need a quick adjust bracelet? Do you need a bracelet that will permit on the fly adjustment? And I'm going to say, for the majority of people, you don't need that. So I'll just show you what I mean. This is a Citizen watch, a Citizen Divers 200 Eco Drive, which means solar powered watch. And this has ratcheting on the fly adjustment. You don't even have to take the watch off your wrist. You literally pull them up, pull these pushers up, and you can notch it out on 2mm increments. The question is, do the vast majority of people who are not divers and who will never wear a swimsuit need on the fly adjustment? Well, in my opinion, it depends on the person that you are. And it depends upon how you wear the watch. Now, this is a very famous homage. This is obviously a 3-link bracelet, and this is homaging. So this is like a very close alternative to the Rolex glide lock system. Now, with this one, you pull it out, and here you can just on the fly set it in, I believe, 2mm notches to where you want to be. Obviously, a Rolex model will work a lot better than this, but this is just a cheap aftermarket one off AliExpress. You then click it into position. When it's clicked, that is completely solid and will not, I'm pulling really hard there, and that will not come loose. So now with this one, with this style, Rolex call it their glide lock. Let's just call it the quick, quick adjust 3-link clasp. The question is, do you need this? Now with this one, you do have to take it off your wrist. You would have to take it off your wrist. Do you even need a diver's extension? Do you look at that? That's about 2 centimeters. Do you really need 2 centimeters extra if you're never going to dive? Who the hell on a hot, sweaty day would think, oh, I just need 2 more centimeters, 20mm worth of extra room? You would never think like that, and you would never do that. Maybe 2mm or maybe 5mm, maybe. But for me, even 5mm would make the watch too loose, which is why, now 5-link, you can get a 5-link. This is a Pagani design watch. This has a link extension system. So that is what you do, is you just pull it out there. There you go, an extra 5mm. When I put it back in, there you go. Now people say that if you've got a hot, sweaty day, you might want some more room because your wrist expands. But if you're like me and you wear a watch low down the hand, low down the wrist here at the end, I wear it in that kind of crease there. I wear my watches moderately loose now because I don't want them to get trapped and dig in there dead bad. So I leave it with at least an index finger worth of space, at least. So for me, even if it was a super hot, sweaty day and I've walked around Thailand in 40-degree heat, and I never thought to myself, I would love a few more mil extra of room. I can't ever remember myself thinking that. I have felt a watch was uncomfortable, but that was just because I was wearing a bracelet watch in the hot weather. It was just uncomfortable. It was sweaty. Even if you made it more loose, it doesn't make a difference. Now it does for some people, because for some people they wear a watch super high up the arm. like that. And I don't know how the hell, now that, even my wrist just moving, even my hand moving, the muscles and the ligaments are actually pushing on the bloody watch there. It's expanding my wrist just doing that. Now if you wear a watch tight and you wear it up the wrist, I could understand why you would want sometimes, if the wrist does expand a tiny bit, perhaps you would be sensitive and would want the on the fly adjustment where you can just go like that and increase it a little bit. But with the way that I wear my watch, I would never ever think that. The only exception where I would want a quick adjustment would be if I was going diving, or I wanted to put something on my wrist, a wetsuit, and I wanted to put it over that. But I will not be going diving anytime soon, and I've never really been proper diving. So, well, I have, but that was years and years ago, and I've not done it since. So it's unlikely that I will be doing that. Maybe if I ever moved to Thailand, I would do it more, but in the near future, no. So for me, the only time I'd ever want it would be if I was ever going diving. But all of the times, I set the watch once and use it. I would never want that much adjustment, and I would never even really want 2 mil adjustment. I just can't imagine a situation where it would be that hot outside when my wrist is expanded with the amount of space that I leave. So for most people, I'm going to say these types of clasps, even though they're easier to set, they do come with some down points in that they're not as secure as a proper pin system. I don't believe anyway. I don't think they're as secure. And secondly, when you have moved it around, it's not as easy to get the exact position back at where you had it last. Now that's not gone in obviously because I've not clicked it in properly, but if you click that in, that will not move. Like that's not moving now. So it is a good system, and yes, if you're a diver, then yes, I can understand why you'd want this system. But if you're not, there's going to be marginal benefits to you really of using this kind of a clasp as opposed to a more secure pin system like that would be in this. Even though these are an absolute bastard to change, this has a pin that is fixed, and that is, I would argue, more secure. And the second thing is, I thought to myself, well, maybe I want, now there is actually another clasp that I've not shown you that is a homage to the Omega Seamaster 300M diver, an updated version of the watch this is homaged from, basically the latest one from 2018, that has an internal ratcheting system where you push a button here and you can increase the length of the bracelet. Again, you're not going to want to use it generally to find the perfect micro adjust slot, because if I put this on my wrist, for instance, and let's say I couldn't find the right setting on just the current by taking the links out. Let's say the right setting for me was like that. Now it doesn't look too bad, but it doesn't look completely right either, does it? You know, having the watch set permanently at this setting looks a little bit strange. Not that it really matters or that anyone would really notice, but it doesn't look completely right and you won't be completely happy with it. This is just a temporary fix, a temporary extension. Now, on the real Submariner, or on this style of a bracelet, this is superior in the sense that you can get the extension without it making the watch look worse, because it just pushes the links out, so it doesn't make the watch look or clasp look funny. So this is definitely a superior system for that. And I believe the Omega's system is also not as bad as this ratcheting, but generally ratcheting systems have that flaw in that they make it they're only a temporary adjustment. Now, I think Tudor do some that don't have that flaw, but again, it's all interesting. It's all points to consider that people don't really talk about when they think of these on-the-fly ratcheting adjustment clasps. They don't think of the downsides, in that some of them are not as secure, although this one definitely is, but this one makes the watch look more funnier by having it at the extension. It's only intended to be a temporary thing, and plus, you know, that's not exactly super heavy duty. You're putting a bit of a weak point there on the watch. Having it closed up is more secure. So I just thought I'd point them things out. You don't need a ratcheting clasp unless you're a diver, or a quick adjust clasp like this. You don't need one unless you're a diver, or unless you wear your watch very high up the wrist and you're tight, and you're sensitive to wrist changes with temperature. But the vast majority will not. The vast majority of people that I know, that some of them have expensive watches but don't think about these kind of things too much. They just set them and go. They're not. The vast majority of people are not changing the settings, just like people who wear desk divers and all that. They're not changing the quick adjust settings every day. They just leave it, set it once and leave it for months. That's how most people do it. If you're changing the setting all the time, it means you've not got it at the right setting, or you're wearing the watch in a funny manner, too far up the wrist, where if you're in a hot country and it changes the temperature, then perhaps you need to wear it lower down the wrist. I've noticed a lot of watch reviewers say, I change my clasp like a few times a day. I keep resizing it, resetting it. You shouldn't be doing that. That's crazy. Unless you're a diver and you actually need the extension, then that's fine. But if you're just a normal everyday person that doesn't go diving and just wears it as a fashion statement, basically, then you shouldn't be changing the watch every single day. That's just totally crazy. The watch clasp adjustment, you shouldn't be doing that every day. That is just mad. Okay, that's my opinion. Thanks for checking my channel out. Loads more interesting videos coming up. Thanks a lot. It's been Dave.